Hello everyone, in the last tutorial we put the basic structure of this form, contact form in place. So in this tutorial what we aim to do is we would be styling this form so that it is just like this design here which you see in the PSD mockup, which is a modern look of this form. So let's get right into our style sheet and start styling this form. So in our Dreamweaver, I'll move to my styles.css and start calling my HTML elements in there. So first we have got contact ID, contact us ID. So I need to put that here and open and close my curly braces. Then this contact us is inside of content div. I need to put that right there. Then inside of this contact us div we have got inside of this contact us div we have got our h2 element, so I'll call it here as well to style. Then after our h2 we have got label. So after this h2 element we have got to call our form element. So inside of this form, then inside of this form we have got to call these labels and the input fields and the button field. So label label, and then I have input fields to style. Then I have got text area to style. That should be it inside of this form, I think. No, we have also got to style this button as well. So button button. These are the elements I'm calling in my style sheet file to style. So let's first refresh our browser and inspect element by inspect element there, and when we hover over our h2 tag, you can see that h2s by default have got default margins to them. So we can just say margin 0 pixel on our h2 element. So I'll put that style in line number 76 on style.css. So I need to put margin of 0 pixel to remove that default margins that we have on h2 elements. Then I'll go to my contact us ID and maybe put a margin of top bottom 20 pixel and left right auto, I'll say, to have automatic margin on the left and right. So I'll put that style in my contact us div, margin of top bottom 20 pixel and auto on left right. Okay, so next thing that we need to do is we need to bring that background, we need to bring that contact background graphic into our HTML. Okay, at the moment if you see in the browser we don't have any background applied to this form. So to do that, first of all I need to go inside of my images folder. Since I have also by mistake renamed this as banner, which I should have not done, I would call it contact bg, as we already have an image named banner for this section of our website. So I had to rename that as contact bg. So I'll see how much width and height it has got 960 by 339 pixel width and height. So I'll place a width of 960 pixel and height of 340. Let's give 340 pixel to height to this, and then I'll call in the background using background style attribute. So the image that we need to call in is contact bg, and then put no repeat to it and it right there. And if you refresh your browser, you will be able to see the contact background image in there. So next thing that we need to do is we need to get these elements at the right place inside of this contact form. Okay, so to do that, I'll just click on contact us and then inspect element. That will take me to this contact us div in my document. Then if you go to the right side here where it says contact us, then h2, and then click here, then I'll say padding. I need padding of 20 pixel on top, 20 pixel on top, and then top right I need 0 pixel padding on right, and then at the bottom I need maybe 15 pixel, and then on the left I need 20 pixel. So you see this first number here in the padding style attribute refers to padding on top. So if you can see here, when I increase this, the padding on top is increasing. The next attribute here is padding on right. If I increase this, you can see that green portion on the right starts to increase. This is padding on right. At the moment I don't want any padding on right, so I'll have 0 here. So next thing we need is, it is not necessary that you put pixel if you have 0 in any of these 0 for any of these number, but if you have a number, it is important that you put px after that. So next is the padding on the bottom. So this is the bottom padding on bottom. I will give 15 pixel padding on bottom, and yes, 20 pixel padding on left. So that should be the style for h2 tag. Copy this style and put inside of h2 tag there. Next thing we need to do is we want to give a font family to this h2, and font size, let's control and command C and put that in there. And let's see how much was the font size of this contact us here. Font size was 36 pixel. Okay, so I need to put 36 there, and next I want to give color to this, which will be white color. Okay, and now let's refresh it. So we have styled our contact us h2 tag. Next I want to style this section, so let's inspect it and go up to this form tag, and let's give a width to it. Let's say we give a width of 800 pixels. Okay, so let's put a width of 800 pixel to this form. 800 pixel. And next thing is that I want to do is I want to move this form a little bit towards the right. so that it just lines up with the contactors heading on the top. So I would like to give margin or margin left. I like to give margin on the left side of mm, how much was padding on the contactors on the left, h2 on the left, it was 20 pixels, so I'll give margin left of 20 pixel to this contactors form. That would move it 20 pixel to the right. So contactors form gets margin left of 20 pixel. Next thing I want to do is I want to custom style these input fields. So let's check how much width we have got for these width and height of these contactors forms. The width and height of these contactors forms are they are 239 by 19 pixel. So I'll just go inside of my input field. I'll give width of 239 pixel to them, and height of how much was the height, just forgot, height of 19 pixel. Maybe let's give height of 20 pixel to them. Okay, and let's have a look how they look. That will change our heights on them. So what I can do is I can just remove this size field here for now. I don't want here. I don't want them. I don't want the size field for them. Okay, they are just the input fields. Next I want to style these labels. So let's go into its style area here. I want them to have font family of exo sans serif and same color, but I would need to reduce the font size to how much it says here. It has got font size of 16 pixel. I would need to make that 16 pixel. Okay, let's refresh and see, and that changes that for us. Next thing I want is I want some gap between this label and the input boxes. So what I can do is I can put padding, or I can put margin I would say margin right of 10 pixel. That would move it 10 pixel to the right. These input boxes would be moved 10 pixel to the right. Okay, so let's put our style in there. Inside of label I'll say right margin right of 10 pixel. Okay, we are going to control the positioning of these elements, name, label fields, these input fields using floats. So please pay close attention to this while I work out the positioning of these elements in here. First we want to go in our label. Okay, so inside of label I would like to give it a float property of left. I'll float each of these elements to left. So watch what happens. Float left. That would move all of these, just these labels, to the left, and nothing else, and everything after that. Okay, so next thing I want to do is I want to go inside of these input fields. I'll give them float property of left as well. So I float them, float float left. Okay, so input is floated left as well. So next thing I want to do is I want to give float property of left to our text area as well. So my text area will have float left as well. So each of these elements, label, input field, text field, and even the button field will have float left applied to them. So moving inside of our style.css, first thing I need to give is I need to give float left property to label, float left to label. Then I can copy it, give float left to input and float left to text area and float left to button as well. Okay, now I would just click on the form. At the moment, if you click on form, you will see where has that form disappear. It has to wrap all these elements, but it is not doing so. So to do that, I can go inside my index.html, and just before the form ending section here, I'll call my cleaner div class cleaner, which will clear all the floats for us. Okay, so I call in this cleaner div here and refresh your browser, hover your mouse on the form, and you will see it is wrapping these elements back again. Okay, so next what I want to do is I want to lower the width of this form a bit. So I want to go down on the width on this. Let's move this down to something. You see what happens when I reduce the width of this form? My message gets shifted down where I want it. So this is what exactly I want. So let's give the width of 600 pixel to our form. So our form takes the width of 600 pixel. Refresh. Next thing I would do is I would create a div between section here. Okay, so that would have width and height, and it won't have any content, so it won't be visible on your browser here, but the it will give a sense of space between these elements. You would just see it right here. I'll go inside here just before the message label. I'll place a div and call it a class of hurry. I'll call it a class of space space, just space. Okay, so in here I'll call it contact us form. It is inside of contact us form, contact us ID. Basically inside of form we have got this spacer class space, and I want to give width of 600 to it and height of, let's give it a height of 20 pixel, which is the amount of space we want to create between these here. Refresh, what happens? Space. Okay, space needs cleaner before it as well. So space needs cleaner div before it to clear the floats that have been applied to elements before it. So just before this space, I'll need to put this cleaner div that would clear the floats, and you have the space as you needed here. Okay, now input field requires a margin on the right side so that email is a little further away from the first input box. Okay, so I'll give margin of margin right, margin right of 10 pixel. But this is what happens, it shifts down because my contact form has got 600 width, so I need to increase the width of contact us form a little bit, and let's make it 740, and then I'll increase margin right on this input field as well, so that this thing is little bit more further away. So I'll make margin right to be 75 pixel and width of form to 740. So width of form is 740 pixel, 740 pixel the width of form, not 7400 but 740, and margin right on the input field is 75 pixel, line number 79. So in line number 79 I'll put this style and then refresh, and there you go. Okay, now I want to move this submit button down, and in fact let's first give width and height to this message box here, this text area field here. Let's give it a custom width and height. Width will be, let's make it 586 pixel width, and I'll make a fixed height on that. Let's make it 100 pixel. Okay, and then okay, so let's copy these width and heights and put this in our text area field. Okay, so let's refresh our browser, and next thing we want to do is we want to push this button down. So what I can do is I can just go in the index.html, and just after the text area field I can put a break tag that would move it to the new line. So refresh it. I guess this doesn't achieve what we wanted. Okay, let's not float it. Okay, so we have to remove this float left on text area field as well. That would just push this submit button down. So let's do it on line number 80, style.css, line number 80. Just remove this float left from this, and that should bring our submit button down. And I also want to add a custom height. It is there already, there, custom height of 100 pixel on text area. Okay, next thing I want to do is I want to push this submit button towards the right so that it lines up with this text area box, with this message box here. So let's go to the button div and give margin right of margin left of 20 pixel, and then keep it moving up. So margin left is, I need to give it margin left of, in fact I would just say I'll give margin of 20 pixel from top, and top right 0 pixel, bottom 0 pixel, and left 20 pixel, and left, in fact I should give it 70 pixel from left. So this is the style that I am going to put in, styles.css line number 81 here. Refresh it and you have it there. Next thing I want to do is I want to style this text. I want to have the same font family to this submit text here that we have throughout our mockup. So let's just get inside of our button style here and copy this font family exo sans serif and font size 16 pixel, color of white, and put that inside of our button style here, and then refresh. And one more thing we can do is, I think let us just give it a background of, I'll give color of white to this button text and background of white. So the color on it will be black and the background will be white. So let's refresh our browser and see what that does. Next thing I want to do is I want to remove this border. This button is looking like an old-fashioned button, so let's remove the border on that, make it border 0 pixel. And to style it more, let's also give some padding to this button. Let's say padding of 5 pixel top, let's say 5 pixel top bottom, and left right 0 pixel. No, we need to give some padding on left right as well. Maybe let's say 20 pixel on left right, so button will look really awesome. And let's give some border radius, border radius of, let's give 5 pixel border radius. This will make this button look really nice. So we have got to put these styles there in our styles.css line number 81. Let's have a look by refreshing it, and there you go, really nice looking button. Next thing, I want to give some border radius to these input fields and this text area field as well. So let's go inside of our styles, and on line number 79 I want to give border radius of 10 pixel, and then border also I want to give border radius to text area field. Oh no, I put that in label field. I need that in input field and inside of text field. Let's refresh our browser. Another thing is I need to remove this default borders, and you see this is outline. When I click on this input field, when this is brought into focus, I get a bluish border to this is called outline. I need to put inside of input field, I need to put outline 0 pixel and border 0 pixel. Same I have to do with the text area. So if you refresh it again, now it is looking much better. Now if you input any text inside of this, you can see as I write any text text inside of this input field, text is just padded up on the left side. So I want it to give some padding on the left side. So by default it has got some space on the left side. So padding of left on that will be 10 pixel. Now that, since I have added padding to that, that will increase my width of overall form, so I need to increase that, because otherwise this email input field will go down. Okay, so first on style.css line number 79, I need to put this style line number 79, and then I'll increase the width of form field, form tag. So on increasing the width to the point where this thing comes up, right? So 755, let's make it 755. Style.css line number 77, let's make it 755. Looking good. Another thing I need to do is I need to put some padding top on these labels. Let's give padding top of 10 pixel. 10 pixel is too much. Let's give it padding top of 5 pixel, or in fact 4 pixel. 4 pixel looks good to me. So copy this style and put in style.css line number 78 and refresh your browser. So there you are. That looks fantastic. And now last bit of thing that we need to do is we need to give some padding to this text area as well. So let's come down into this text area and give it some padding of 10 pixel. That would increase the width and height, but that is what we wanted here, so that our anything that we put in here is at the right is actually looking good. So padding 10 pixel on text area, padding of 10 pixel on text area, looking good. And I can also give some styles to font inside of text area that we will write inside of text area. I'll say let's use this font family of Exo Sans Serif and size of 12 pixel maybe, and color we will use black. Similarly, I want same font family on for the input field, for the text that we enter in the input field. Let's refresh and try to type some text. So there you have your form styled in a modern layout. So in next tutorial we'll move on to create the footer of this website. So that is it from this tutorial. Have a nice day, have fun.